BunnyGirl43 here, and happy Halloween, everybody! Today, my dad is going to be telling you guys this story and drawing pictures of how my 14-year-old cat Miko transformed into a kitten this Halloween. I hope you guys all enjoy this spooky story. And be sure to check out our second channel, Pinky Clan, for more videos of our cats.
The last time my humans saw me, I was watching birds in my backyard from my man-human's outdoor zero-gravity chair. When I didn't come back for weeks, my humans probably thought I'd gone on another wild adventure. Hello, my name is Miko, and I'm a flame-tipped Siamese cat. I'm a mostly outdoor cat because I can't stay cooped up all the time in a house like a kitty pet. Sure, indoors is where I eat my meals and leisurely sleep at night. But the outdoors is where I have lived most of my life. This adventure started when I bounded out of my chair and slipped under a hole that a dog had dug under the fence. I haven't smelled a dog in the neighbor's yard for ages, so I knew it was safe. Soon I had run across the neighbor's backyard and climbed up their wooden fence. I ran down the fence and avoided some kids a short ways away who were walking their dog on a leash. I ran quickly to the sidewalk on the other side as a car turned to go down the road that I was on. I stayed on the sidewalk until I had escaped the busy neighborhood. In a farmer's field not too far away is the place that I go to try and remember and to reenact where possible the outdoor experiences from my youth. A few years ago, I was an incredible hunter. Most anything I hunted, I caught. Rarely did I come away with nothing then. But after hours of trying, I found it was just too hard to catch mice in a farmer's field. I had figured if I chased them out of the cornfields out into the open, I should have an advantage. But all I see is a blurry streak of brown, and the details are missing that I need to know where and when to pounce. Lately it seems the details of everything that I look at seems to be lost to me. I see the birds only as their shadows cross the ground in front of me, and they fly overhead. I do see the birds while they rest on tree branches as their bodies are silhouetted against the bright sky in the morning. My humans have told me that I don't move as fast because I'm 14 human years old. They say that my body's age translated to cat years would mean that I was approximately 98 years old. I do feel old, but I still think I look pretty good, even if I do say so myself. Since I failed at hunting prey, I decided to go around some farmhouses to see if humans would feed me, but I was having no luck. I even tried meowing that I was hungry to a young man working out in his garden. He yelled "Scram!" as he threw a dirt clod that almost hit me, so I went a long ways away from that mean human. After I'd gotten away from the farmland, I went through a huge expanse of sagebrush. When I heard a coyote's howl, I stopped in my tracks. I listened real close. I could tell that there were two or more yipping to each other. I realized that they were working as a team, trying to hunt me. They must have picked up my trail from outside the farm fields. I had to pick up the pace if I didn't want to be their dinner. They seemed close, and were getting closer, but they were behind me, so I could not go back the way I came. I heard a stream nearby and I ran towards the weeds, which I could use as cover. But I couldn't stop there. I started to cross the shallow stream, but paused before stepping on the dry land. A good strategy came to me as I realized that the coyotes would go straight across from the edge of the stream where they had lost the trail. If I simply crossed the stream, there would be no advantage to me. So I continued walking the stream, using the water to break my trail and to cover my footprints. I walked for several hundred yards in the stream until I could hear the coyotes' calls seem distant. I knew that I had confused them, and now they were far behind me. Now I could run again without being heard by them. I crossed the stream again and ran towards farmland and civilization, but not in the direction which I had come from. Finally, after walking for a long time on a dirt road, I found that it led to an old farmhouse. I could tell that the land hadn't been farmed in a long time. I could smell no dogs, so it looked like a safe place to hide out for a while. In front of the house, I saw a rusty pickup truck in the dirt driveway. When I jumped up on the warm hood of the truck, I knew that it had been driven recently. So I walked all around the house looking in windows when I could. The windows were dirty, so I couldn't see much, but there were lights on inside. Outside the back of the house, I was surprised to see an old lady in a rocking chair watching the sun go down. She seemed to respond kindly to my meow where I asked her for food. She went into the house and brought out a can of cat food. I ate the entire can on her porch while she petted my head, saying, "You're not chubby enough." And she laughed a little laugh. "We'll fix that soon enough." Then she bent down and gently picked me up, and I let her carry me into the house. Shortly after eating, I felt very sleepy. When I awoke hours later, I found I was in a small cage, like the kind you keep rats in. The room I was in had at least a dozen other cats in their own cages. Groggy and feeling woozy, it was at least another hour before I could communicate with the other cats. They told me the lady was a witch, that she would practice her medicine and witchcraft on the cats. Most of them had been caught in traps with food in them. Now I was worried, and I knew I had to get out of there as soon as possible. Whenever I was around humans at home, I knew that they would always leave at some point to go to a place they call work, or to go to a store. I was told by the other cats that this witch would go out in the morning and check on her traps. In the morning I was hungry, but the witch did not come to feed me. My stomach was growling at me since it had been several hours since my last meal. When I heard that door slam and the old pickup truck fire up, I knew this was my chance to escape. I put my paws through the homemade cage I was in and pressed down on the lever outside my cage. All of a sudden, another paw came through the cage next to me, and the other cat pushed up on the lever, and the door to my cage released. I was free! I could go and eat! I made a thanks to the other cat, and I tried to help him out of his cage, but the fastener on his was different. Now I had to find some food before I got out. I searched the kitchen, but all the food was put away. I hopped up on the dining room table and I found a recently eaten meal, so I licked the plate clean. But I was still hungry. In the glass next to the plate was a mostly full glass of what looked like milk. I tried placing my paw in the glass to get some of the milk. It tasted good, and it was better than milk. Since this was not my human, I decided the paw method was too slow. I gave the glass a nudge, and it spilled the remainder of its contents onto the table. I quickly lapped the milk-like substance off the table. I was in the process of looking for more food when I started to feel strange. My muscles in my hind legs started to tingle. I felt my saggy, baggy fur in my middle tighten as my muscles seemed to grow. As I looked around, my vision started to clear, as if someone had cleaned the dirty window I had been looking through. Suddenly, my body started to shrink as if my bones were getting smaller and my joints felt tighter and stronger. I had to check my reflection in the mirror to see if I looked any different. At first I thought I looked 10 years younger, but then I realized I don't look any more than a year old. That must have been a youth potion that the witch was working on. From the look of her, it didn't look like it worked on humans, but it sure works on cats. I had to repay the kind cat that let me out. So I went back to him and tried again, and finally, working together, we got him out. Finally, we got all the rest of the cats out too. We made a plan that we would all rush the entrance when the witch came in the door. Finally, we heard the old pickup truck pull into the drive. I meowed, "Everyone into your positions!" Each cat found their spot, ready to run for the entrance when the door opened wide. "Right meow," I said as she opened the door, carrying a small red fox in a box trap. She said, "What? You all got out?" We tripped her as she stood awkwardly in the doorway trying to block it with the cage. But we ran with claws out, using her knees as a jumping platform, and some escaped by running between her legs and body as she fell to the ground, dropping the box trap with the fox on the hard floor. The cage bounced on the hard floor and released the spring which held the fox. Every cat and creature she had caught escaped that morning. We ran and did not stop running until we were far, far from that house. A long ways from that house, at the top of a hill, I climbed a tree and went to the tallest branches so that I could see over the whole valley. Once I had my sense of direction back towards where I could find civilization, there I would search for my humans. After a long walk, I was back among humans, and I had to watch it crossing the street as cars were nearby. People were walking dogs and children could be heard in their backyards. But all the landmarks and smells that I'm used to were gone. I must not be anywhere close to home. I spent one night curled up in a little ball in a wheelbarrow and made a nice bed out of some weeds that were in it. The next day I was hungry and I went from house to house looking for food again. A couple times in a week I would find food to keep me going. I even ate some dog food after the owners made him go inside from barking at me so much. One day I was sticking pretty close to the houses in this one really nice neighborhood. I came around the corner of a house and went past a really tall bush when suddenly a loop of rope slipped over my head. I realized a young woman in a uniform had trapped me with a pole attached to this rope. I tried to fight and pull against the rope, but it was very hard to breathe. A bag was dropped over my entire body. The loop was taken off my head and the opening of the bag moved quickly and knocked me off my feet. I heard a clang as I struggled to get out of the bag. I was free of the bag, but I found I was locked in a cage. Not again! Mine was a large wire cage, but there were several cages around me, empty, except for one cage that had about 4 kittens in it. And there we sat, looking at each other in a dimly lit back of a truck. We traveled to quite a few places. We even stopped for a few minutes. Then a couple times the back doors opened wide, and the dimly lit interior of the truck would give way to the brightness of the sun. Oh, the light! Suddenly another cat or dog would be placed in a cage beside me, but usually a cage or two away. Finally, we arrived at the truck's destination. I remembered that this was the same place I had started out so long ago as a kitten. I was at the city animal shelter, at the same one which my humans had gotten me from in the first place. I knew it was the animal shelter as soon as I smelled the clean smell of bleach as we came through the back doors. The humans took the kittens out of the truck first and found a cage for them. They were put together in an area called quarantine. That word quarantine means that a cat will stay away from the rest of the shelter animals for a 5-day holding period while they examine you. When I had started out as a kitten in an animal shelter, I had gone to a foster home after those 5 days for about 2 weeks until I was big enough to adopt. But something was different this time when they processed me. A shelter human with long, thick gloves clear up to her elbows pulled me out of my cage. This small room had an examination table and they placed me in a harness on the table. When they checked my neck for a collar, I almost laughed because I had lost that on some bushes weeks ago. I was an expert at ditching collars, but my humans had always gotten me new ones. The shelter human placed me in a harness and then used some electronic scanner above my shoulders. I heard a loud beep. This scared me and I tried to get out of the harness, but I couldn't do it. It was too tight. I was scared of the examination table for good reason. I had had a surgery here before. Soon, information appeared on the screen and a bunch of silly human writing. The technician was really happy about the information on the screen. Soon, she used a phone to call some people. She sounded really happy, like a bird that chirps so fast when they found a whole bunch of worms after a light rain shower. I didn't know what to make of it since I've never had that experience before. When I got placed back in my cage, I did not get placed in quarantine like the kittens. The human said, "You're going to a special place for VIPs." There I got some food and some fresh water. I didn't know what a VIP meant, but it made me nervous. I tried to look kind and lovable to everyone who walked past me. Towards the evening, I was tired of trying to act so cute and friendly. I could tell they were closing down for the evening. Just then, the human from the shelter said to a group of people that I couldn't see, "This is a flame-tipped Siamese cat, and according to our records, this cat is 14 years old. But this cat here looks to be about 6 months to a year old. Note that we verified that this cat is chipped with a digital ID. And according to our records, this is your Miko." What? They said my name? Suddenly, some familiar faces came around the corner, and I was reunited with my family. Oh, I was so happy to see them again. I was free. So, there you have it. There's my story of how a 14-year-old cat got a second chance at life, and a Halloween adventure that I will never forget. Happy Halloween, everybody! Hello, I'm Pinky's dad. Thank you so much for watching our videos that Pinky's mom made and that I drew and did the voice of.
Little kitty Miko.
This is the star of our show right here, little Miko.
Anyways, be sure to check out our second channel for our cats, Pinky Clan, to see more videos of our 7 cats, including this little guy. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys! We'll see you soon with the next video. Happy Halloween!